North Launceston almost guaranteed of finishing on top. Glenorchy, if they can win today, they must. Otherwise, they can go down and get a 44-gallon drum full of mothballs on Monday. For them, a win is an absolute must, and then they're a rough chance to make the 5. The other matches today in this round 18 of football, with one to be played tomorrow. A lot of interest in that Devonport-New Norfolk clash, and we'll keep you up to date with the scores on that. One played tomorrow, North Hobart and Sandy Bay, and probably the most talked about match was Hobart and South Launceston. That's being played at Bellreeve. I don't think either club's very happy about that. Well, with me for an afternoon of frivolity, fun and football, Bob Keddie and Chris Smyth. To you, Bob. I think last time these two sides met, it was well over 100 points. I hope we're going to see something a bit closer today.
Well, I certainly hope so too. I'm sure we will. I don't think that Glenorchy can perform as poorly as they did the last time these two sides met. And certainly Simon Byrne last week, 17 goals, 9 against South Launceston. Admittedly, the opposition wasn't as strong as you would have hoped, but his clash with Chris Hills, I think, at fullback is certainly going to be an important one for Chris Hills.
Yeah, look, I think Byrne will be a player to watch, and the other players in the Glenorchy side look very impressive on paper, but they just haven't quite got it together this year. But if Kim Exwell has got his boys firing, it's their last chance. They've got 2 easy games after this. If they can sneak through this one, there's still a chance to make the 5, and I expect a pretty tight contest.
Yeah, but I think that it will be a very, very interesting opening to the game. And there are 3 players from the North Launceston side I've picked out just to earmark. Wes Lewis has been a wonderful attribute to this side this year, and they really are desperate to keep him for next year. Andrew McLean in ruck or at full forward has also been a terrific player for them, and I think will probably go to the AFL next year in the November draft. Jason Gibson returns, very important for the scoreboard as far as he's concerned.
Well, Gibson's kicked 56 goals this year, and I think the Glenorchy halfbacks, and either Careless or Barwick, will pick him up, and they'll have a very important job. The other members of the back line, Goss and Carter, they're pretty solid. Their centre line is very impressive with Stiles and Mansfield, and as you mentioned earlier, Bob, their forward line really revolves around Simon Byrne. 19-7, 19 goals, 7 last week. Terrific effort.
Well, there you go. I think it's pretty unanimous for North Launceston, but as I say, the last chance for Glenorchy, and maybe that'll bring the best out of them. Normally this is snigger corner time. When I cross out to Jamie Cox, it's cold, wet, miserable, but today, as I said, it's not a bad day, is it, Jamie?
It's quite pleasant down here just at the moment, Neville, although it may get a little bit damp later on. It's fairly overcast, and I wouldn't be surprised if a shower eventuated. But hopefully it'll stay away, because the ground condition is very firm, and there's really no breeze to speak of. So as I mentioned, terrific conditions for what I'm hoping for, and for what I suppose 1,500 other people here are hoping for. Terrific contest. I don't know if it'll eventuate or not, but I suppose there's an old saying that a champion team will always beat a team of champions, and although Glenorchy have got a lot to offer on paper, unfortunately they haven't put it together at a lot of stages this year. On the other hand, North Launceston, we've seen them also play a fair bit this year, and they've been terrific. They team together wonderfully well, and it hurts me to say, but I think that North may get up today. Something strange, I did just notice the Glenorchy players just went out to the ground past me here, and both of them have got the number 3 written on the back of each hand in black texture. So I don't know if that somehow refers to Wes Lewis or what it is, but it's something a bit strange at this stage.
Okay, it perhaps is 3 games to go, isn't it? And they must win the 3. And next week, if my mathematics are right, they'll have the number 2 on there, Bob. One thing I can compliment York Park about is the PA is superb, isn't it? It really belts it out.
Well, I think, yes, you're right about the PA system, and I think also that we should note the condition of this ground when you consider what it's like at North Hobart Oval at the moment, and you look at the condition of York Park here. It's just sensational.
I can tell you, and Rick Finlay passed this piece of priceless information on, that after the 1929 floods in Launceston, over 5,000 kapok pillows were buried just about where the middle of this ground is, and I reckon that is the secret to the drainage. 5,000 kapok pillows.
Well, speak of burials, Neville, I think Glenorchy lose today. They can start their burial for season 1995, and I must eat some humble pie. North Launceston have been terrific all year. Every time we've seen them, they've only lost 1 game, and I think they really are a quality side with good players right throughout their lines.
So it's the Robins going to the left of your screen up to the Invermay Park end. And it's Proctor on the ball for North Launceston. He's just out of your picture. He'll come hurtling into it. There he is, right, just on the right, as the umpire moves in to start. ABC TV's match of the day, North Launceston and Glenorchy, with Glenorchy their last chance. And that might make them play very well. Still in the middle of the ground, it's grabbed by French. He swings it round the body to half forward. Not for very long. Now to centre wing on the broadcast side. Fisted clear towards Lewis. He's wearing the number 3. That's not what their number 3 is all about. Harthill is the centre up of this. Now it's cut off by French. Centre field or heavy traffic. Caught with the football. The umpire didn't see it that way. Glenorchy go forward with Jordan kicking long to full forward. And the diving mark to Simon Byrne, who kicked a matter of 17 goals, 9 last week. This will not be the hardest attempt he'll have today. 30 out, straight in front.
Well, you certainly can't question their approach to the ball in the opening minutes of the game, can you? They were very, very good.
He's inside of 100 for the year, Simon Byrne, in a side that might not make the finals. That's a goal. So he's had 18 in 2 weeks of football now, and this game is just a couple of minutes old. Glenorchy a goal, North Launceston haven't worried the scorers yet.
Well, Glenorchy started with the first hit out of the game, a clear hit out. It was a bit of a contest. Scott Jordan will be a very important player for them today. That ball, not such a quality kick, but certainly found Simon Byrne on the lead. 2 quick matchups. Hawkins has got Mansfield and Todman has taken Michael Stiles.
Great start for Glenorchy. Their season on the line today as Jordan and Proctor go at it. A quick kick out from Dunstan to the half-forward line. In front was Olds. Roving was Pyle, who was ridden into the ground. And Wesley Pyle will take a free. Half-back line for Glenorchy.
Decent old stash back in the middle of the ground.
It's a pretty fiery start. The target was Mansfield. Dunstan's on him. Stiles. Simpson does well. Todman. Back to Dunstan. The umpire's found a free kick. Then play on. Sam Dunstan, as he's done all year with lots of pace, electrifying skills. A good thumping left foot kick to the forward line. Over Carter and Cassidy. Running onto it is Lewis, the danger man. Where's Lewis? I think he might have missed Neville.
One flag.
You don't often see that.
Yeah. Well, I think the look tells it, doesn't it? I don't know what he said then, but I didn't think he was all that happy.
Gee, it was just as well Michael Stiles missed young Dunstan as he was running down that wing there. I think some part of Dunstan's anatomy would have landed in the grandstand.
Good kick off to full-back. Proctor at the fall. Just pushed along. Careless in there, but now Simpson. Short chip. Tell you what, you don't often see Simpson use the ball badly. Peter Bowick has the ball after cutting that off. Half-back flank, the ball fisted towards the boundary line. Rhys Jones there, the North Launceston captain. Whoa! I just hope that Rhys Jones can maintain the cool, because I'll try him out today. Bowick again. Caught with the football. Knew it. Long searching hand pass up to Harthill. Right half forward flank, the swinging ball. Mark, good play. Actually, they're doing well. This is one of the brothers, I think, isn't it? Gavin Stiles, who I think incredibly to me played amateur football at the start of the season. They begged him back to Glenorchy, and he's been one of their better players in the few times I've seen them. Stiles kicks for goal. Close. It's there, I think. They've kicked 2. Good opening to Glenorchy. The number 3 written on the backs of the hands might mean something to them today. That's a very good start. 2 goals with the breeze to the town end. That breeze is worth probably 3 goals a quarter.
Well, it's been a very, very spirited start for them. You see Careless getting the ball away there. A good handball. Across to Jason Harthill. Hartill's been sort of an average player for them this season, but Gavin Stiles, you're right in the comment you made about him. He really should have been playing statewide football all year.
Back in the centre of the field, neither Jordan or Proctor get a clear head at it. Mansfield might have hurt himself, number 4 for Glenorchy. Free kicks going to North Launceston. Doesn't look good for Matty Mansfield. It's driven forward by North. Either a mark or a free kick to Anthony Loon, surely.
Pretty late.
And a bit high too, Neville, I think. From the half-forward line, Anthony Loon. Here's a pass. It's a good pass. I think it's got Hawkins. Deep into the forward pocket. He decides to ping away. Will it make the distance there, McLean? A mark to Glenorchy, I think, for Jordan. Right deep in the heart of defence. You're right, Neville Mansell is trotting around. Jordan from the 10-metre square looks for Mansfield. Nearly took the mark, recovers well, good skills. feeds it out to Gourlay. Gourlay from half-back in the Styles direction. Shoves his opponent out, and the umpire saw it. Good umpiring. Adam Sanders had front position. Styles just pushed him out to Dunstan, the centre wing. I've been impressed with this guy. We've seen him a few times. Good kick, chug. But I think he's captain for today for North Launceston. And the ball's out of bounds.
That should be a really good contest too. Carter against Dale Choke. Correct, he has been appointed captain for today's game. Deservedly too.
12 plays 1, Proctor in the front. Dunstan maybe won the ruck tap. Waiting for it patiently with a lot of traffic around in Barwick. Away they go again. Hand pass up to Jordan. He's getting plenty of grabs. Nice tidy up to Cox. Long kick into the forward line. Rhys Jones tidies up. Thought about hand passing through. Over to Sanders. Out to Olds. On the half volley. Lends it one way. Caught with the football. A little bit of latitude given there. Styles again. There's a fight down to the forward line. I really think this is going to be a test for North. It seems to me that Glenorchy are going to try and rough them up. And it really is... North Launceston is the side that could ill afford the reports. Rhys Jones has been roughed up a couple of times so far. He won't back his card, of course. North Launceston free kick seems to suggest who the aggressor was. Marcus Chug marks at half-back flank. Down to centre wing. Proctor in the middle of that. Dunstan grabbed when he didn't have the football. Newitt caught with the ball. No, grabbed high. Given far too much latitude by the umpire, though. He ran a very good distance before he got pinged. Gourlay to half forward. Proctor takes the ball on second grab. Todman into space. Sanders kicks high. Centre wing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it arrives. Rebounding ball to Barwick. Round the body up towards half forward. And the ball tapped over the boundary line by Sanders.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if the report has already been made, because the emergency umpire actually went out to the central umpire to indicate something to him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Darren Holmes and Rhys Jones were involved in that. But Darren Holmes certainly given Rhys Jones a pretty tough time at the start of the game.
Sanders caught with the football. I think he thought he took the mark, Chris.
Yeah, look, I think the kick from Barwick did seem to travel 10 metres, but it might have just been touched off the boot. 50 metres out from Glenorchy's scoring zone. Sanders weaves his way through some heavy traffic. Kicks it long. Carter, defensive punch from behind. Careless runs onto it. Went without in the end. Good hands by Simpson. Feeds it off to Cassidy. Cassidy spears a pass in the McLean direction. He's out in front of Goss. Oh, nice skills, McLean. A very good pass to Gibson. Attractive football.
But he gives you a hint every now and again of what a good player he is, doesn't he? I know I've said that a few weeks in a row.
And Goss himself is no slouch.
Just outthought him, really, didn't he?
Seemed to...
Good to see Gibson back.
From within 50, Jason Gibson has had 3 weeks off with a hamstring injury. Had no trouble kicking that one, but unfortunately it was just a minor score.
Justin Dwyer has the job on Gibson. And, that also should be a good contest. Some pretty good matchups.
Dwyer takes the kick in from full back. Kicks it long to centre wing. Glenorchy had the numbers 2-1. Oh, Cox was outplayed by Loon. Good handball to Cassidy. Clever handball to Simpson across to French. North, a good build-up. A spearing pass from French to Wes Lewis.
Very definite about the way they use the football, aren't they? That's always, I think, the mark of a good side. They seem to have their options mapped out so positively. Mind you, they're behind on the board. Glenorchy taking the points so far. Wes Lewis, a recruit from North Ballarat, to the Invermay Park goal. That looks close. I reckon that's their first of the afternoon, as the North Launceston supporters in front of us break into polite applause. 2 plays 1.
Well, the important thing about this passage of plays is the efficient use of the ball. I mean, it really was set up so well. Cassidy had the handball out to Simpson, onto French, and French is, you know, he just measured that kick to cover the Glenorchy player, and Lewis was able to finish it off, and did well in doing that, because he missed an easy shot just in the opening minutes of the game.
Yes, he's kept 1-1 of North's 1-2. Proctor gets his fingernail to it. Just trying to scrimmage this forward. A lot of this seems to go on now. Now the direct kick. Long bomb by Chug, up towards Gibson. Feeds it off to Lewis. Kick round the body towards McLean, who should get back to this. Bounces towards the boundary line. He retreats. Can he run round again? Caught this time. Oh, luck's a fortune, isn't it? He passed it to Gibson. You make your own luck, somebody said. But I think there's a fair degree of it in that. He just dropped the ball under the boot in the sling, and Gibson should kick a second goal.
Well, I think to Gibson's credit also that he was involved in the first passage of play and then went across to try and get involved again, so he started well. Gibson
is returned to football after some hamstring troubles. That's his first goal. He's 57th for the year, and North Launceston hit the lead.
Well, once again, we saw that the ball was taken out of the midfield, and you'll see McLean here, and he slung off the ball and actually had Goss slung him the other way, he probably would have kicked the ball out of bounds on the full.
Might have kicked a goal, given that the luck's going. 2-2 plays 2 goals. Glenorchy the first 2, North Launceston the next 2. Rhys Jones is in the centre square. Is he having a run on the ball? You'll see him. Proctor goes up for it. There's Rhys Jones. Thought he was an excellent playmaker last week for them when they were in a bit of trouble.
Still in the centre of the ground, Loon. Clever kick off the table. Proctor overruns it. Still in there battling. A lot of players around the ball. The umpire sensibly lets it go on. Finally comes out to Craig Davies. His kick round the body is marked by Carter. Quickly plays on. Harthill. Byrne, who's a long way from full forward. And his kick finds Rhys Jones on the centre wing. I think Simon Byrne's actually playing in the centre, and Matthew Mansfield's down at full forward for Glenorchy at the moment. Rhys Jones had a terrific year. Spears it across to Lewis, who started very well. Had a great game last week to Gibson. O'Dwyer, defensive punch. At ground level, Gibson's got the pace. Will he keep it in? He does it cleverly back to McLean. Careless runs in for Glenorchy. And the safety of the boundary line, which I noticed last night. I don't always watch a rival channel, but last night the umpires were paying a direct hit out and straight across the ground was delivered out of bounds.
What do you think of that?
I thought it was good, Neville. Also good is Sam Dunstan, very clever, onto his left. Cassidy's the target, Goulet from behind. The ball in dispute. O'Dwyer's first there for Glenorchy. The Glenorchy defenders have been under a degree of pressure the last 5 or 6 minutes. Hall, Dale Hall, a courageous mark. The ex-Hobart player, back in the side the last couple of weeks. Kicks it to Styles. Styles just seems to uplift Proctor. No one can get the ball. Styles back in there. Chug, clever hands to French. French drives it back. Chug's the target. Punches it forward. It interferes with Byrne. Probably a bit technical, a bit ticky-touch one. But it's going to be Simon Byrne at centre wing with the free kick.
So Byrne, 17 goals last week. Playing up the ground. Good kick into that corridor. Oh, good mark too by Styles. Gavin Styles.
It looks as if Styles might have actually gone into that key full forward position because Chris Hills appears to be his opponent at the moment.
Matthew Mansfield right back in the goal square. With him Proctor. Styles kicks to the town goal and misses. That's the old bike track up there behind that goal umpire. That's where the old Examiner's 6-day bike race used to be held. Gone now, very sad.
You were in that one year, weren't you, Neville?
No. What about those K-pop pillows there? 5,000 of them, all ruined by the flood, all buried in the middle of York Park. Some of the information we find out through the week is just blistering, isn't it? Sanders kicks out. Lovely kick down the middle. Proctor. No, won't get that far. This is Byrne. Kicked a heap of goals last week. He's going to control the midfield this by the look of it.
Well, it could turn out to be a good move, Neville, but they've really got to have someone up the full forward area who can convert.
Byrne is about 65 metres out. I have seen goals kicked from here. He's not going to up that. He's going off into the pocket. Beautifully weighted pass. That was a super kick. A super kick indeed, marked by Newitt. Little David Newitt. Not all that difficult from there. About 36 metres out. Right forward pocket to the town end goal. And he makes it look pretty easy too. That's Glenorchy's third goal. Compliments of an excellent pass out of the middle, and David Newitt caps it off. But that kick from Simon Byrne was a gem.
Well, it was a very, very important kick because on the previous occasion, Gavin Stiles wasn't able to convert what was a fairly easy shot at goal. And it's so important for Glenorchy to maintain their presence in the first quarter so that they go in at the quarter-time break even with North Launceston.
Well, Mansfield's back in the centre and Burns gone to full forward, so Glenorchy swinging the changes as Proctor is beaten by Jordan. Hartill at ground level. The left foot kick, Stiles takes a terrific grab. And Glenorchy seemed to have started with a bit of spark, which the last time we saw them, Neville, they didn't really have.
I think they've got their side pretty well organised, Chris. They look to have picked players for the right positions. Their matchups look pretty good at this stage.
Here's a pretty good player in Michael Stiles. A fair way out, gives it a bit of a tweak. Marked right on the goal line by Hills. The umpire has picked out a free kick, and it's going against Adam Sanders, I think, not Hills or Byrne. It's going to his Glenorchy opponent, Gavin Stiles.
Well, I hope we captured this.
And Gavin, who missed one a few minutes ago, I think he might have missed that one.
Well, I'm just interested in that free kick. Because it looked as though it was. I thought it might have been paid Chris Hills for a little push back, a bit of a shepherd. But who would ever know? The umpire was on the spot, get a good view of it, played it the way he saw it. Now it's Sanders to kick out from fullback. Hills rarely does. All is well now. Down the ground, Dunstan. Seem to be beaten in the air today a little bit north. Those markers of theirs, the Proctors and company, haven't come to the aid of the party yet. Now Loon. Oh, good play. Into the middle. It's cut off the supply. Simpson. Proctor. Oh, a bit untidy, but it's going to work. French has had a heap of kicks. Up towards Gibson, who's outpointed. Lewis isn't. Knocks it back to Gibson. Gibson looks at options. Skirt rounds, takes the shot himself. High ball. Slow motion. Lewis on the rebound. Goal. They deserved that. Lewis kicks his second. Extraordinary build-up. Lewis and Gibson really just controlling it as a grandmaster at chessboard.
I thought one of the interesting parts here was McLean. He and Goss sort of, the ball seemed to be up there for an eternity, and they sort of, it was like patting pancakes as the ball came down to the ground. And Wes Lewis, just a terrific conversion there, and a very, very important one too, because as you mentioned before, as Groenewegen is about to come onto the ground, and I think he possibly will replace Proctor.
It's Proctor at this contest, beaten again, taken by Rhys Jones. Don't the crowd love that? And this bloke, French, is playing well. Up towards Chug, fisted away from him. Loose ball should favour the North Launceston side. He gets his sixth kick now, and that's French I refer to. Rebounded to centre wing, and Jordan is being a good player for Glenorchy in this first quarter.
It has been good. That kick's not a good one, though. It's well smothered by French and Dunstan. Combined effort there. Picked up by Simpson. He's in trouble. He's got support through Hawkins at half-back. Hawkins got time to measure his kick. He goes in the Lewis direction. Has been fantastic early. He was spoiled by Fenton. Goulet at ground level for Glenorchy. Through the centre of the field. The play on as McLean takes a mark, then spills it. The touch off the boot. Sanders on his non-preferred. Back to centre field. Jordan in front. Well sport by Cassidy. But a fraction late or a fraction high, and Scott Jordan will take the resulting free kick.
I think just a fraction late.
Quickly on with play, Holmes. Darren Holmes, who's lined up on David Rhys-Jones, gives it to Newitt, then gets it back. Kicks a high one. Across the ground, really, in the Byrne direction. Hills with pace and strength, tries to barge his way through. Well tackled by Byrne. A wild handball, Barwick on the left foot into Stiles. Terrific take there by Adam Sanders. And he's been pinged.
Actually, the phone log last week said we were critical of the umpire. I'll make no comment about that.
Michael Stiles. Difficult angle, tight on the boundary line. Chance for Glenorchy's fourth. Just to
As I mentioned before, it was Groenewegen coming onto the ground. He's gone into the forward pocket. McLean has gone into ruck, and Stephen Proctor has been taken from the ground because Jordan really was carving him up.
Sanders short, Olds marks. Oh, he's off. High ball. North being beaten in the air. McLean's at the fall of this one. Gets under it a little bit. Over the back, Carter recovers well. Works it out to Harthill. 55 from goal. Right boot kick into the pocket, looking for Styles. No, yes. Free kick. North will play this on. Craig Davies runs across the square. Looking for the railway side of the ground. Chip. Hasn't he started well? Jason French. Okay, bow. How many kicks, Rick? 7?
Where's he from, Neville?
Yep. He's a local, I'm sure.
Yes, he is.
He's good.
McLean misses it. Grab it if you dare, Cassidy. I'll tell you what, they're doing well in the midfield. Loon particularly. Chain of hand passes to Simpson. Chug by himself. The acting captain is 50-odd out. Semicircles haven't been painted today, I don't think. Well, you can see it there. It's about 3 weeks old. He's about 40 out to the Intermay Park goal. Pulls it across the body. It's coming back. That's a goal, I reckon. Good. Yeah. North Launceston's fourth. They hit the lead again.
There was a terrific kick, really. And you mentioned in the call how efficient they are through the midfield. Just in patches so far this quarter, they've looked a little bit disorganised, but when they do get the game going and they get the numbers to the ball and they get that player ahead of the play, they're able to finish it off. And Dale Chug's kick there was a long one and a very, very vital one.
Styles against McLean. Both two youngsters with good leaps. No one wins it definitively at ground level. Here's a chance now for Cassidy. Picks it up. One grab, spins around. Kick was smothered eventually. Fenton and Lewis. Lewis has been on top there so far, but Fenton does well. Gould's kick was smothered. Lewis, clever hands just to keep the ball alive. Follows it up nicely, gives it to Chug, who in turn finds Olds. Running into trouble. Lots of pressure out there in the midfield. McLean, good handball. Careless charges in. French was taken high. The umpire calls play on. Careless is still there. Hot on his hammer was Lewis. Careless couldn't quite pick it up. Styles to Carter. The umpire eventually picks out a free. Back to either Gavin Styles or this Gavin Styles. Fairly frenetic pace, that passenger play. A casual handball to Carter into Mansfield. Too long for him. Dunstan spins out of trouble. Onto his left. Decides to handball out instead. Finds Todman. Just snared there by his opponent. Todman follows up nicely. Before he can handball away, it's out of play.
I suppose it begs the question, did he deliberately run that out of bounds, Chris?
Would have been hard to play that one, Neville. Styles, Harthill rose nicely. Bacon in front. Just couldn't quite drag it in. Sanders from behind. Swooping through as Mansfield. Overran it in the end. Bacon again. Working hard was Marcus Todman, who always seems to work hard week in, week out, Neville.
I really think he's certainly been one of their better players this year, Marcus Todman, number 7 there. McLean wins it. Dunstan. Left boot with pace. Look at him go. Race 3, White City. Over to Lewis. He's at the back and will not mark that. Fenton hands it off to Carter. Smearing kick down the ground. Looking for Hall, who will get it this time. No, he won't. Craig Davies recovers. Centre wing, hit and hope. Bronner's out there. The wagon won't be in the pace hunt. Cox, centre half forward now. Hills, the North fullback, comes out and meets it to Barwick. That's good play. Barwick flips it across the top, regains it again. Rhys Jones runs at it hard. So does Sanders. That's good play. Out into the pocket. Rhys Jones mark.
Much better out of defence on that occasion. North Launceston seemed to have it organised a little bit better.
Rhys Jones from half-back, just directing traffic a little bit. Settling the play down. It's been played at a pretty top pace. McLean and Styles. No one can get it. Barwick. Inboard to Carter. Just sets it up and kicks it long. Hall. Oh, but a good, strong mark. From behind him, Craig Davies. He started well. It's deep in the back pocket. Back out to centre wing. McLean will be his target. He's forced to punch. No one can drag it out. McLean, just as he did, the umpire probably caught the blind side there. A clever handball from McLean. North threw away, but the umpire said, I'll have it back.
You need to see McLean take a mark or two.
Styles beats him in ruck. Newitt taps it cleverly forward, but only as far as Olds, who streams across half-back. Spears a pass into the centre. Great pick-up from Chug. He's got options in French. French can go for Gibson. Super play.
I can't believe how well Jason French is playing.
He's been fantastic, hasn't he?
The handball from Gibson eventually finds Olds. A scrubby old kick, caught high.
He applied the tackle high.
Well, that resulted from fiddling around from the part of North Launceston. They had the ball on the run towards goal. Started to fiddle around with it.
Towards the old scoreboard side here. That's a wire on the half-back flank. And the time clock, which shows we're in time on first quarter. Long kick down to centre wing. Reece Jones at the fall of the ball with Holmes. Might have been over the boundary line.
That's an interesting matchup, Bob.
Well, it is, and I mean, Reece Jones, his influence was shown last week. Probably saved the game for North last week, but certainly Holmes has he's roughed him up a couple of times in the first quarter.
North Launceston by 5 points. McLean wins that. And over the boundary line it goes. Davies in pursuit. I know about just coming off, or Glenorchy player rather, just coming off through the interchange. A gob for Wesley Pyle, number 20, going on for Glenorchy in the dying stages of this quarter. There's a decent fist out of that ruck battle. It might be destined to go back over the boundary. No, to centre field. And here's a go as Holmes has got the ball. Breaks into the clear. Lovely kick up to Byrne, who should convert from there. He's about a little under 40 out.
It always intrigues me the number of players who lick their fingers after they mark the ball, and if they knew what was on the surface of the ground, they probably wouldn't do it.
It's only in anticipation, Bob. Byrne to the city end. And has he missed that? Yes, he has. Gee, you'd have to say Glenorchy would be a bit unhappy about their kicking for goal. 3-4 now of the 4 points. I reckon all of them potential goals.
Well, Styles has missed 2 set shots, very, very easy shots, and Byrne, 17-9 last week. You would have thought that he would have been a little bit straighter on that occasion.
Sanders has a lovely left foot kick. Doesn't let me down. To the 50-metre line, punch forward. Finds Simpson. Long to French. He's in a good battle there with Barwick. French has been winning that duel so far today as Hawkins runs back to his spot. Being tagging Matty Mansfield. Hawkins doing well, careless. Scrubby old kick, but in fact it was a perfect kick. Finds David Bacon outside the 50-metre zone. He's spearing past to Styles. I think it was meant for Byrne, but Styles chips in.
Actually, that's a terrific battle, that one, because Todman's a wonderful tagger, but I think Styles is probably the most difficult player in the competition to tag because he covers so much ground, and he's a very good mark for his size.
He's a legend at Glenorchy land, Rob, I can tell you that.
So were you.
Good kick from 50 metres. Has it got the distance? Punch forward. The umpire spotted the free. It's going to North Launceston. Right on the last line. And it's Reece Jones.
Were you a legend at Glenorchy?
Not for my on-field activity.
No. Reece Jones to Sanders. We've probably only got a matter of a minute or so to go. 29 minutes tick by an hour clock. It's been a 7-goal quarter. 4 to North, 3 to Glenorchy. McLean under this one, and he nudges out and gets lumbered.
Well, a little bit soft.
Make no comment. Styles. Oh, good mark, Byrne. Now, did Byrne nudge out? I don't think Simon's all that intrigued about that. Well, that's a dangerous thing to do. Reece Jones has got some work to do through traffic now, and he'll get a free kick.
And on that occasion, gee, the player was there, the ball was there, the bodies are allowed to hit each other.
Well, the rules do change a bit from week to week. At quarter time, it's North Launceston 4-2-26 to Glenorchy 3-4-22, and David Reece Jones has got a headache. What did you think, Bob?
Well, I think that Glenorchy have certainly come here today with the intention of winning the game. That number 3 on their hands, as Jamie Cox mentioned before the game, I don't think there's any doubt at all that signifies 3 games to go, 3 wins they must have if they want to play in this year's finals. And they went about it in pretty workmanlike fashion in the first quarter. I thought that Jordan won the tall brigade. Gavin Stiles was also very good in that department, and young Hartle was a pretty busy player around the ground. For North Launceston, Jason French was just outstanding, probably the best player on the ground. Lewis was effective again, Loon through the midfield. And I thought also Davies was very good. Craig Davies was good in defence for them.
Well, there we are. The boys having a lemon and a rest, and perhaps even a tongue lashing from the coach. That's your reward for a quarter of work. We leave York Park now, and we'll have a look at the other scores in this round of TFL competition. And that's the critical game up there at Devonport, New Norfolk in front by 5 points at quarter time. And now we'll go to the cricket scores. Launceston playing Clarence, 70-19. I think Clarence must have won the toss and batted first. And in the Hobart South Launceston game, which is being played at Belrive, it's South Launceston absolutely giving Hobart a hiding, according to the first votes in. And so it's another cricket score, and I think that might surprise a few. Although, in the papers this morning, a couple of people, brave souls, did pick South Launceston to win, including Bob Keddie. Well, let's leave TFL football for the time being. Karen Ty now with a sports update. Well, if you listen to Chris Smyth, they've never been out of town. On the way up in the car today, it's all he could go on with. They're back in town. They are. They're back in Launceston, and they did pretty well in the first quarter. As we look at that scoreline at quarter time, and we see North Launceston just in front, 4-3, and the major goal kickers, Lewis kicked 2 for the North Launceston side, and, well, there were single goal kickers to Glenorchy. Jamie Cox has been, in fact, there are the goal kickers, 2 to Lewis, as I said. Knew it, that was a good little goal too. Gavin Stiles could have kicked 3, and Byrne had a run on the ball through that quarter. The quarter-time huddles, rather. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves. The quarter-time huddles have just broken up. Jamie Cox has been earwigging. What intelligence can you pass on to us, Jamie?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, ferocious first quarter from down here in the fence. Both coaches extremely animated. Actually, I don't think I've seen Kimmy Axel sit down the entire quarter. It's very obvious this game means a real lot to Glenorchy. He's playing a lot of roles here. He's playing water boy, he's playing trainer, he's playing coach, he's playing a lot today. So obviously means a lot. David Rees-Jones has acknowledged the fact Glenorchy having a real dip here. He wants his players to respond, to get to the ball first, and to make sure they get it on quickly. One thing from Glenorchy, Matty Mansfield was actually just taken up into the rooms by the doctor. I think he might be slightly concussed, but hopefully he may be back a bit later on. But that's all the report from down here.
Well done, Jamie. Jamie, our spy. They're just about to get away in the second quarter. We might just have a quick look at the stats, the team stats for the first quarter. Who did best, Bob?
Well, French with 8, Lewis was 7 for North Launceston, and we look at the kicks there. It's actually 79 in favour of North Launceston and 70 to the Glenorchy side. So it's pretty evenly matched. It's just a matter, I think, really the difference between the two sides is that Glenorchy had a real chance in the first quarter to probably come in about 2 goals in front.
North Launceston with the breeze in this quarter. We thought it might have been worth 2 or 3. Should have asked our spy Jamie Cox about that. Stiles on the ball for Glenorchy. Wins the tap, but only as far as Loon. Kick to right half forward. Barwick should be first to it. Is now. Boundary's close. So's the Pony Express. And this time he gets nabbed with the footy. Olds. Gee, easy as you like, isn't it? When nobody really wanted it. And the mark taken by Glenn Goss. A fine player he's been over the years. Knocked out of bounds from the kick.
We should note also that Groningen has gone back to the bench. Proctor back in ruck.
Dr. Proctor. North with the breeze to the city end. Chug on the ball. Knocks it to the front of the pack. And that's going to go back over again. That's the ugly side of football, isn't it? And there is some thought that between the 50-metre semicircles, the team that is not guilty of knocking the ball over the boundary line will receive a free kick. I don't know about that either, but food for thought on this Saturday afternoon. Hope you're enjoying our telecast. Hardhill gives it, but only as far as French. Now it's picked up. We'll see some action. Bacon across the field. I'll tell you what, they've got some room to run in here. Carter can go for a couple of bounces if he wants. Defensive side of centre unloads to centre half forward. And is that a Barwick there? I think it is Peter Barwick. He's been around for a few years. Probably there when you were playing, Smythy.
He was.
Been a very good player.
Tripod is his nickname.
One dreads to ask how. 26-22. A goal here would give Barwick and Glenorchy, a goal to Barwick would give Glenorchy the lead. It only fails by a few metres. That was on the receiving end is Newitt, who kicked a goal. He tried to square off. I guarantee that Adam Sanders doesn't mind the direction of the kick at all. Only one of the youngsters at North, Adam Sanders. And his play doesn't betray that, does it? Cox marks. Gives it over to Bacon, who blasts onto the forward line as far as Proctor. And now we're getting a shepherding decision here from the umpire. And Glenorchy will receive the free kick. Well, that must be the rule of the week.
Going to be a pretty damaging one too, because Burns, the recipient of the free kick. It's David Rees-Jones on your screen there, but Chris Hills is the one who's going to stand the mark.
Well, Burns kicked one. Should not miss this, and does not. That's a very good kick. Glenorchy back in the lead, 28-26.
Well, I think that what's important about this game, more so than the actual free kick, is that last week you could just see Hills there, just on the left-hand corner of your screen there, cut across the front of Burn. Now, whether that's shepherding, I guess, is up for discussion, but North Launceston just dropped their tempo last week against North Hobart and nearly lost the game, and today they just haven't been as efficient as we've seen them throughout the year. They'll need to get their players a little bit more involved.
2 points to Glenorchy. A quick kick from Hawkins goes to the half forward for North Launceston. Neither Barwick or Olds could mark it. Swooping onto the Simpson. Can he pick it up? Taps in front of him. O'Dwyer comes through for Glenorchy. Lewis has been wonderful the first quarter. Cleverly keeps in front of him. May have dropped it and been pinged for holding. Out it comes to Dunstan. And Careless just taps it across the line. Where's Lewis? Just every time he goes near the ball, he looks quite impressive.
Yes, he's been a great acquisition. A lot of talk around that he's a favourite for the medal. I don't know where that came from. Surely the umpires wouldn't be talking about votes. They never do.
Who's your favourite for the medal, Neville?
Don't know. I haven't thought about it. But all I know is that there's a bit of money being sneaking around for one Wes Lewis.
Not only in Tasmania, I hear either.
Don't know about that.
Styles heads for the boundary line.
Well, I think one thing's for certain, that if he did win it, he'd be a worthy winner, because he's been an outstanding player all year and a wonderful leader around the club too.
Chuck and Styles just sort of like wrestle each other. Comes to ground. Goulet somehow manages a handball to Bacon, who gives it to Fenton. Fenton, who's tagging Lewis today. A good kick to centre wing. Backing back with courage was Holmes. Cleverly off the ground. In front is Styles with pace. He's got support. Barwick taps it forward to Pyle. Pyle swings it across ground to Bacon. And before Wes Lewis can get there to spoil, David Bacon, who's, for a youngster, done quite well, sees a lead on offer into the pocket. Cox couldn't grab it. Sanders got support through Hills. On his left, it's a poor kick. Dunstan tries to run around Careless. Proctor to Hawkins. Hawkins sees Rees-Jones, and Rees-Jones on centre wing quickly plays on with play across the ground. Favours Bacon, really. If the ball sits for him nicely, Glenorchy can mount something. Bacon kicks it long. Hall can play on. The umpire's called advantage. Dale Hall running with open goal. Glenorchy's fifth. Dale Hall's first.
It really was a close call, that one, the decision to allow the play on. We'll see Bacon here kick the ball, and just marginally late. See it a lot in footy, and what concerns, I guess, or would be concerning the North Launceston camp at the moment, is that their players stopped, whereas the Glenorchy players, one of the things that has changed this week is that the pressure they're applying to the North players, they haven't received that for a couple of weeks, and certainly the fact that Glenorchy are playing on every occasion.
8 points the difference. Back in the middle. Styles goes up, beaten by Proctor. Lewis overruns it, taken by French. Kick smothered off the boot. Still in the middle, isn't it? Now standing up with it is Hawkins, who kicks short to centre half forward. It's marked there by Gary Barwick. 22, not 12. Good pass, and that is number 30, and that's Ben Careless. And that is the other Barwick. I tell you what, Peter Barwick is having a damaging say in this quarter. Up to Simon Byrne, Rhys Jones, long hand pass to Chug. He's going to go for a run. Easy as you like. Waits to unload the ball to my brother, and my brother drops it. Barwick's hand pass, or in fact puts it onto the forward line, and is going to try and follow this up. Tackle's being applied, but a little late. Todman goes in. And here's a goal coming up, perhaps. That ball is going to skew back from Michael Stiles. Good kick. Missed it. Gee, I thought that was there. I'm not querying the umpire. I just thought from my angle that very, very close. 26 plays 35, 10 shots to 6. Glenorchy really dominating everywhere at the moment. Sanders kicks off. Marked by Loon. Spent, I think, the first half of last week on the bench.
He did too.
It's a good player to have on the bench. He goes in the Lewis direction, just nudges out Fenton, but loses his footing in the meantime. Careless can pick up. Wild handball over his head. Carter taps it inboard. Chug from centre wing for North, drives it long. McLean's the target. Neither he or Goss could mark it. McLean back first to ground. Good hands to Simpson. Simpson sets it up. Around the corner from Mansell. O'Dwyer does well against Gibson. Punch forward into the pocket as Fenton finally picks himself up on centre wing. A quick stab to the North Launceston, only as far as Stiles. That's plenty of support. Goss, a couple of bounces in the back pocket. Spears a short pass to Bacon. Handballs to a man standing still in Barwick. They've got time to get around. A shocking kick.
Gee, a lot of good work undone by a bad kick. This is Dunstan now. Left boot kick to Lewis. Lewis on his own. Gee, I thought he might break then, but he's very quickly marked by Ben Keelis. Good play. Lewis is about bit under 50 out. 46. Eighth possession.
Probably one of
the chance.
Probably one of his real qualities, Wes Lewis. Just able to find space inside 50.
I was going to say licking his fingers. He just did. Hasn't got the distance. Oh, big pack flies. McLean nearly took that. In fact, Gibson, Gibson, has missed 4 weeks, I think, with this troublesome hamstring, and that was a pretty fair grab. Actually was looking to see who was in the pack with the best chance. I'm trying to analyse it, thought nobody has, and then Gibson. This for his second. Oh, he's pulled that too, but I think he might have just crept it in. Yes, it's a goal, but only just. You can mark that down as a 5-pointer, actually. North Launceston's 5th, and they trail by 3 points.
Well, Gibson's mark here. You notice Gavin Stiles jumped very, very early, but Gibson, he actually did play 1 quarter against Launceston 3 weeks ago, and that's when he did his hamstring. So he hasn't had a lot of football, and it's very, very important that he gets through the game today and comes out of it with a good leg.
3 points in at 10 minutes into the second quarter. Stiles against Proctor. Ball goes up and down. Newitt tackled by French. The umpire's picked out a free. It's going to Fenton, and Lewis.
It was there too. Lewis took a real swing at him.
That's a pretty hostile matchup, that one. They've been at each other all day. Stiles was caught high by Loon, accidentally, I'm sure. Loon only had eyes for the ball, but it was a fraction high. Stiles right in front of the commentary box on centre wing. A wobbly old kick. In front was his brother Michael. He couldn't grab it. Rhys Jones, as he so often has done this year, just runs through half-back, spears it up to Chug, traps it well. Carter, first to recover. His kick goes to no one. Well, no one but his opposition, Noman Davies. Hawkins on centre wing for North. Just building something up. McLean pushed out. Goss keeps it in front of him. Barwick, clever handball over the top to Bacon. In turn to Newitt. All alone is Gavin Stiles on centre wing.
Having a pretty good day, Gavin Stiles, isn't he? Attacking side of centre wing, only a metre or two in it. To the lead from Simon Byrne. Had a little bit to beat then. Proctor with strength to Hills. Yeah, he's a strong character. The ball's over the boundary line. I think we said last week he'd be in the main event. Proctor gets a tap to Lewis. Oh, clever hands to Dunstan. Long searching hand pass off into the middle to Hawkins. Over McLean's head. Tell you what, it's still not finished yet though. Mansell to run onto it. Oh, good defensive skills by Glenorchy. They just commit themselves back there, and Robert Goulet was back there with a timely boot off the carpet, put over the boundary and safety. Oh, that did look dangerous for them. Well done. McLean's having one of those falling over days today, but he does well there. He knocked that to Mansell, I think, up forward. It'll be grabbed and trapped by Justin O'Dwyer. The kick only travels as far as Mark Simpson. From well outside 50, the kick is a beauty. And the mark is also very good, Jordan. I thought there might have been a shepherding penalty there against O'Dwyer on Gibson, but that must only go ahead in the first 3 minutes of each quarter. Now, watching the ball to go to the railway side. A bit of a nudge there in the pack, I thought, by Proctor. High tackle, push in the back, whichever you like. And the free kick will go to the brave man, Hawkins. I think he really earned that. On the lead, Gibson. Oh, gee, he's hard to cut supply from, isn't he, Gibson?
Just very quick off the mark. Very, very quick over the first 5, and just gets that 1 metre break, and he's got a very good pair of hands. Hard to stop once he's on the move.
Gibson 30 out. This for the lead for North Launceston, trailing by 3. Conversion would see them lead by that amount. To the town end goal. Lays back on it a little. I think he's got that. He hasn't. It's very close. It must have just about been over the top of the post. It's a 2-point game. Glenorchy in the lead and deserving. Surprised me. When you think that 10 weeks ago Glenorchy were walloped by well over 100 points, today they're showing a lot more spirit for their jumper.
Dwyer goes long. Carter at ground level. It's Cox. Good handball to Bacon. Bacon spears a pass in the Burn direction, but chopped off very well by Marcus Todman. Gives it across to Chug. Chug back through the centre field, and Chug just strong hands, glue-like. Put them up there and snaffled that one to half forward. No one could mark it. Mansell does well to give it to Olds. Across to Simpson and Gibson. Does find space, Bob.
Well, I think they might have to make a change there, because he's really running O'Dwyer around, running him a merry dance.
It was 2 years ago he won the medal.
Yes.
I think he's playing better this year than he was then.
I agree with you. Certainly until he was injured, he was a top player.
6 marks to Jason Gibson and 3 goals.
I hope we were able to catch the initiation of this passage of play, because really the poise that was shown by the North players there, you see Ansell and then Olds' handball out to Simpson. That was terrific stuff. Didn't panic, and then just put it to the space. Just wonderful football, and that's exactly the way a forward likes to see the ball come into the forward line. Gives him a chance to run hard onto the ball so that he takes it at pace.
Except if you fall forward for Launceston. Gee, I do feel sorry for them. Let's hope they have a better quarter. We looked at that score a little while ago. Glenorchy to go forward again. Oh, that kick is a shocker. To half forward where North have got the numbers. Sanders to run the ball out of defence. Long kick out to the railway side. That might finish up over the boundary line. The pursuit is Mansell. And now it is over. Long run for Nout.
But just on screen, Neville, you can see, just off screen now as Goulet runs back, Wes Lewis and Brenton Fenton. The emergency umpire was halfway out in the ground to report one of those a few minutes ago.
That has been an ill-tempered battle between those two. Ball back to centre wing. Glenorchy have got the numbers. Clever tap on by Newitt. Up towards Stiles. He's ever dangerous. Newitt follows up his own good work. Davies goes in now. The boundary beats the lot. Just out in front of the scoreboard. Glenorchy into attack. 70 metres from goal. Proctor wins it from the front. Knocks it down towards Hawkins. Work to do. Gives it to Dunstan over the boundary line again. 6-3 to 5-5. 39 to 35. 4-point lead to North. 16 minutes gone second term. In a crackerjack game. Glenorchy a chance here until Davies picks it up and then puts it down, picks it up again. Kick, it's woeful. French is on the fall of it though. Well, he can do no wrong today. To the other end of the ground, it'll be just fisted back into space, kicked off the table by Loon. And Carter to tidy up. A nice mopping up operation up the ground to Barwick. Barwick between centre wing and half forward on the railway side. Kicking to the Invermay Park end. That's a ball burster. Todman spoils only as far as Newitt. Hand pass is utterly untidy. I'll tell you what, they're still building this up though well. Bacon's got a hand in this. Flipped over the top for Barwick. Oh dear. Oh. Marcus Chugg gives away a free kick.
Neville, I think it was they missed one before. Dale Hall was caught high. I think the umpire was just looking for one, and they could actually give it to even up then.
Goodness me.
Is that how they umpire? Seriously?
There were a couple of supporters nearly jumped the fence then. I wished we'd had the camera on the crowd then.
Still, Barwick a chance from 55. Loops into the pocket. Proctor, no, it's not Proctor. He was first. Second, though, was Michael Stiles. And Michael Stiles takes the mark. The only question that I'd have to ask is whether he got the first grab.
Well, he's not coming off because, as a result of that contest, because Groningen has been waiting for 5 minutes to make the change.
Stiles kicks to the goal at the Invermay Park end and puts it through. So it's 6 goals apiece and Glenorchy back into the lead by 2 points. We might just have a real good analysis now of, here's the kick by Barwick. Just have a look, Proctor in front.
Looks pretty clean grab in the end.
Yep.
Good decision. But I was interested in Robert Groningen, who was waiting on the boundary line to go onto the ground. They couldn't get Proctor off.
Glenorchy back in front and back in the middle. Hawkins for North Launceston takes them forward. Chugg and Carter. It's been a good battle. Eventually the boundary line beats both of them.
There's one player out of the side today, Steen Kremeskothen, and I think that it's made a difference with that. You know, his lack of height and pace.
On centre wing, here's a man with pace. Dunstan thumps it forward. The Wagon's third in line and takes the grab. Oh no, the umpire has pulled him back, and I think Robert might have known that. The big gloved hand went into the back of Scotty Jordan.
Looks like he's got his driving gloves on.
Tagoulay chips it to centre half back, finds Bacon. It's been impressive so far, Bacon. 10 possessions. McLean, I think it's his first grab. Handballs cleverly onto Hawkins. Spears a pass in. French stands his ground with courage. Following through is Hawkins. Spears a pass to Groningen, and this time the gloved one.
Hawkins been a terrific player. He really has. 15 possessions so far, Hawkins in the midfield. Hasn't got Mansfield to worry about at this stage, but still a great contribution.
Groningen from within 50. It's a tight angle. And the ex-Glenorchy captain coach brings a point up for North Launceston.
And I'd like to know why Wes Lewis wasn't given a free kick then. He was absolutely decked by Fenton.
Justin O'Dwyer kicks off. The mystery shall remain. Over the back, neatly tidying up Mansfield. A little bit slow of hand, but gets it to Harthill. I'll give you a mark from that little thing. Now it's back to Carter. And that kick is a shocker. Although so is the attempted pickup. Barwick, Stiles and Todman. Maybe Todman has dropped the colours for the first time this season, I reckon. Stiles perhaps getting the better of that battle.
Yes, I think he might have his nose in front at this stage, but half-time might see a turnaround.
Just 1 point the difference. Glenorchy into attack. We're at about the 20-minute mark of the quarter. And the umpire will come in and bounce that. McLean blast up. On the ball now for North. 41 plays 40. McLean gets up very high then. Sat on his back. I'm not sure I suppose it's allowable. And I reckon the umpire will have to bounce it again. There's Styles. And Todman wearing him like a pair of Groenewegen gloves. McLean wins it again, but goes straight over the boundary line. Got to give Glenorchy a chance to win this, you know, the way they're playing. They seem to be snuffing out each of the North Launceston charges. But it's getting pretty negative out there. Now, can we get a kick in? Davies picks it up and puts it down. And now we'll see Chug with it and back over the boundary line. Is that deliberate, do you think?
Could have been. It was a flip of the coin.
About 40 metres out from goal. Well, McLean's clever on the ball this time, but only as far as there's Todman. Who wants it?
I think they all want it, Neville.
This is about under 15s, isn't it? This is 10 o'clock Saturday morning stuff for about the last 30, 40 seconds.
I think one of the problems at the moment is that it's been such a physical game. But there are a few tentative hands in there.
McLean leaps high, gives it to Davies. That's clever ruck work. Chug, Carter, his opponent. Swooping through is Mansfield. French bundles him over. Chug back onto it. Everyone piles in there, and eventually the umpire relieves us of the situation.
A very good gain of territory, though, by the Robins, wasn't it? I mean, they really were in trouble in that on that half-back flank.
It's now back on centre wing as Fenton and Lewis lock arms. McLean thumps it forward. Swooping onto there was Simpson in the Groenewegen direction. Holds his feet. A quick snap on the left foot. Will it bounce for him? Dwyer's first back there. Fit of the fumbles, but he's got space and time. Measures the clearance. And Goss protected himself. Took the mark in front of Olds. Took the mark on half-back. Glenn Goss. In the state squad earlier this year. His left foot kick. I think the crowd tell it. The first out of bounds on the full for the day.
That's a bad mistake. Loon grabs it. Gives it over to French. Just continues to do well. Up to Grona. The wagon doesn't mark that. Tell you what, there's a chance now for Lewis. How did he get into that space? It's a point. He just zips past the pack, doesn't he? And so often he's there on the receiving end of the thoughtful hand pass, the Robins hand pass, and then it was Mansell who gave it to him. It was very clever.
It was just so quick from Mansell.
Just no Dwyer to the railway side. A good kick of about 65 metres. Good mark too. That's Glenn Goss. Very clever mark, Glenn Goss. Now Rhys Jones. Oh, he surely gets a free kick for that. He does. Push, shove, round the neck. I think the umpire really, that would have been a pretty easy decision. He had about 4 options to give him the kick. Long to centre half forward. Oh, good mark. That's Chug. Oh, the hand pass isn't complimenting the good work. Olds, Lewis. And here comes a goal, surely, as the spin from Loon converts a full 6-pointer. North Launceston 7th, and they lead by 5 points.
Well, you'd have to wonder whether Wes Lewis there, whether the umpire actually paid advantage. Watch this as Olds gets the handball out. Lewis gets it straight in the back and right in front of the umpire. And I can't see that he would have paid advantage there, but it was very fortunate that Loon converted, because, boy, gee, that was a free kick to Wes Lewis.
I just caught it out of the corner of my eye. I was watching the flight of the ball. I saw Lewis go down. No doubting that. North by a goal or thereabouts.
Dunstan deep into the time-on period of the second quarter. Giving away ground was Olds. His kick was well marked by Stephen Cox at half-back for Glenorchy.
Gee, that was a strong mark.
Held his ground, showed courage. He had strong hands. Just flips it over the top to Jordan, who's unmarked. Just squeezed his handball out before he was tackled, but puts Goulay under pressure. Mansell's got him, and the umpire spots it. It was a tough decision, but...
Gee, you know, how does he get rid of it, I wonder? Anyway, the playmakers in this game don't often get rewarded. That was tough. It was still.
It's with Dunstan. Unmarked. Is Old. From within the centre square to Groenewegen to Gibson.
Been a good target, hasn't he?
Oh, he's just got such good hands.
I thought earlier in the year, Bob, that Gibson and Groenewegen seemed to doubt one another's role. I'm not sure that there was a definition in their minds as to what they were supposed to do. I reckon, though, this is a classic piece of forward work. Let's see about the conversion first. And that's a goal. He's kicked 4 now, Jason Gibson. But as they approach the ball, I think it's a most interesting double play that North have got available there on the forward line. Watch this. Just have a look at the attack as it goes into the pocket. They're both there, aren't they? Fundamentally, I think either could have taken that.
Yes, I think so, and I think rightfully so, because Gibson was running at the ball and Groenewegen running away from it with the flight of it, that Groene left it to the player coming at the ball. So it was a good decision by Groenewegen and a very good mark and conversion from Gibson.
That's the Robins' biggest lead for the day, and those 4 goals for Jason Gibson take him to 60 for the season.
And here might come number 61.
Have to make a change.
It's a 12-point lead for North.
He doesn't think he can get this.
It's a good kick off the boot. Might just drop a fraction short. Lewis bounces, but only for a minor score. His 3rd point.
I don't think there's any doubt that he's a little bit concerned about that hamstring when he's kicking, because he's just not stretching out.
Goss on with play quickly to Newitt. We'll find Cox, 3 possessions and at half-back. On to centre wing, Mansfield's a target. Hawkins with him. Good mark to Mansfield. He just fended off Hawkins. Spears across to Holmes. In front of, or behind him was Reece Jones.
He fended him off. He gave him a backhand affair in the mouth.
We've got a spectator down in front of our broadcast box here explaining exactly what the decision should have been.
There was no malice in it. Matty Mansfield's a very clean player.
Yep.
McLean, Dunstan, over the line.
I think what it does emphasise is the accidental nature of a lot of incidents in this game. But I suppose you could have picked a free kick. Actually, the crowd was terrible at about 12:30. Not too bad watching this game now. And it's about to be neutralised. Quarter time, and North Launceston have kicked 4 goals in each of the first 2 quarters. Glenorchy have kicked 3 in each of the first 2. North led by 4 points at quarter time, and now they lead by 2 goals, exactly, by 12 points at half time. So they're sneaking away a little bit, although I can but admire the way Glenorchy have got about their work in the first half of the game. Certainly a lot more intestinal fortitude put into their effort than they did at KG5 some 10 weeks ago, Bob Keddie.
Yes, and as the Glenorchy players on screen go off the ground, just off screen, Steen Kremerskothen is having quite a long talk to Wes Lewis, and Lewis looks quite perplexed about the fact that, or about the amount of attention that Fenton has been giving him, for the whole game. And it's going to be a good test of character. You see Kim Exel there, but the North players coming off, a good test of character for Wes Lewis to get through this, because he's certainly going to be, the pressure's going to be applied to him come finals times. Hawkins, Mansell, French, Gibson and Olds, they were really good. And also I thought Bacon and Peter Barwick were good for Glenorchy, but I think Glenorchy have been terrific. It's certainly the best we've seen them play this year.
And they're having their little whisper from the coach, and just a minor change to the score I gave you, at least audibly, a moment or two ago. The scoreboard has just changed here. North Launceston at half-time, 8-6-54 to Glenorchy 6-5-41. The Robins by 13 points. And Kim Exel just having a chat to his charges before they go in for a cup of coffee and a sandwich at half-time. Now, looking at the scores in the other matches going on in State League football, and it can't be, well, it was as close as that about an hour or so ago. That's how they started off. 53 points apiece, Devonport and New Norfolk. That must be a beauty. And now the others, which are a little bit more lopsided, I think. Launceston have had a better quarter. Absolutely well done, because I think it was just about naught at quarter time, so 100 plays 53. What a very high scoring game is that. And in the third game, it was South Launceston really doing very well, and they continue to do so. And a club that's down on its knees being kicked by just about everybody, I can't think of a better recipe for a resurgence than that, Bob Keddie. It might stop some of this nonsense about them being put out of the league next year.
Well, I think that they've certainly got some plans, South Launceston. If they come off, there's no doubt that they'll be competitive next year, but they've got a lot of work ahead of them.
So, TFL football, we bring you up to date with all the things that we know about at half-time. Now let's see what Karen Ty can tell us about the rest of the world of sport. Thanks, Karen, and welcome back to York Park. Actually, I just saw the Robins run past our commentary box on the way back, so we'd better get a bit of a hurry on. Let's refresh your memory as to the half-time score here at York Park, and it's 54-41, and I think that's the biggest gap that North Launceston have enjoyed. The goal kickers, well, Jason Gibson has been absolutely superb with his 4. Simon Byrne, who kicked 17 last week, 2 from limited opportunities. Well, let's go and have a look at the stats quickly now with Bob and Chris. Fellas, what do you make of all that?
Well, there are two interesting stats that come out. The centre breaks, 10 to North Launceston, 3 to Glenorchy, which you wouldn't have thought when you watch the game. The other one is in the last 10 minutes of that second quarter, it was very, very important, interesting that North Launceston had 20 more possessions than Glenorchy. Fitness a problem?
I think it's not a problem, but Kim Exel will probably consider a couple of changes. Someone onto a Gibson rather than O'Dwyer, and they need more out of Byrne somehow. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, but they are the 2 changes I'd consider.
All right, well, there's the North Launceston side. One of the reasons we like to chew over the stats here at the half-time break is that I've always had a dream, Jamie Cox, of catching you fair smack bang in the middle of the action as the game starts. We nearly got you once earlier in the season. Were the coaches happy?
They were both fairly happy, Nev. I don't think you're going to catch me in the middle of the action today, but no, they're both very happy, although both very animated once again. It's obvious that this really does mean a lot to both clubs. Kimmy Exel addressed his players on the ground before they went into the sheds at half-time. He was fairly happy, although he was fairly critical that they were not manning up at crucial times, and that a lot of the North Launceston players were finding too much space through the midfield. David Rees-Jones, he was also fairly happy, although he said they were a little bit undisciplined at times, and we're not tackling as well as what he would like. A technical fault there. So, yeah, all in all, I mean, it's a terrific first half of footy. Let's just hope that Glenorchy can stay with North Lonnie here. I think we're in for another terrific half.
Okay, Jamie Cox down on the ground, keeping us up to date with what's been going on in the rooms. The Glenorchy side, Stiles there, Gavin Stiles, with the tracksuit top on. Well, in fact, he's out of our shot now, and the Robins just having their last chat together. One of the incredible matchups in this game has been, who's it, Darren Holmes on Wes Lewis?
No.
Sorry. No, Fenton on Wes Lewis. Now, unfortunately, we haven't got any videotape to bring you of that, but
probably
a
just
bit
as
of
well.
A bit of what's been going on certainly hasn't been within the stated rules of the game, I think you could say with comfort.
Well, I think that it's going to be a very important challenge for Wes Lewis to make sure that he sees the game out. North can't afford to have players reported, and as you see Rees-Jones on screen there, one of the players coming off the ground at the moment is Sam Dunstan. That's an interesting move because Groningen has come off. It's been very interesting to watch that halfway through the quarter, Proctor comes off, Groningen goes to full forward, McLean into the ruck, and that's when I believe that North have gotten their football and their pattern of play back in order.
Now going off for Glenorchy, nobody you can see there, but I think the former Hobart player, Dale Hall, was one of them, which surprises me a bit, Chris. I thought he had a pretty good first half, you know, in and out, bit of this, bit of that.
He's that sort of player, Neville, but he's very talented. I'd have him on the field in my top 18.
13 points the difference. The Robins in front, the biggest gap of the day. North Launceston going to the left of screen. Proctor wins the first tap and then falls over. Barwick goes in and gets a high tackle twice. The umpire, I must emphasise, is on the blind side. Picked up by French, kicks it down towards centre half forward. Gibson pushed in the back, play on's the call, feeds the hand pass off to number 13 Mansell, who misses. And when I wasn't saying that in any fashion of rudeness, what I was seeing with the naked eye, the umpire was round the other side of the pack. And when I was saying he was on the blind side, I don't mean he's a little on the blind side, I mean that he literally was on the far side of the pack. It was in no way a rude comment. The ball kicked out towards the broadcast side. Going up high and dropping the mark was Jordan, but he does well. Now Mansfield, round the body, Rees-Jones, Todman, too high, still breaks away. A chain of hand passes, gets to French. Kick is a shocker. Not the Cole pasty, but Millie. French from Proctor onto Gibson. And into the pocket. No, it doesn't carry far enough. It was a chance for Chug. No chance at all. Carter's a good player. He's had a pretty good day. By gee, he could muck this up, though. Now he steadies. Oh, and the kick is a shocker. Down to Anthony Loon. Loon, 55 out. Off into the pocket to Lewis. You wonder where they're playing Lewis now. Maybe they've moved him out of the pivot, or they've put him out on a flank to try and nullify that Proctor. Oh, he's a good aerialist. Though I must say that one of the features of North Launceston's game today, I don't think their big men have anywhere near marked as well as the Glenorchy big men. I'm thinking of, say, Carter and Styles and a couple of very good marks in that last quarter to Glenn Goss. Let's have a look at Proctor. Left boot kick straight through the middle. They stretch the lead. That's their 9th. 60 plays 41.
That's a really, really important goal, and I think it's terrific to see Proctor drift down into that corridor too, but you really must give credit to Wes Lewis. The kick there, it really was put right in front of the goals. Instead of having a pot shot at the sticks, he put it in a position where his tall players could run at the ball. A very, very intelligent use of the ball.
Dr. Proctor, as you call him, Neville, lines up for another bounce down. Is he a doctor?
No, just rhymes.
You're called Doctor too, aren't you? Is there a reason for that? Stephen Proctor gets a free kick.
This telecast won't run long enough for me to tell you.
Gibson, who's just been chopping them up on the half-forward line, spears it across to Cassidy. In front of him was a Glenorchy defender who took a fairly hefty blow. A fraction higher as Mansfield and his opponent go at it, and they're coming from everywhere. Mansell, Mansfield, McLean, Harthill, Chugs just blanketing them all.
You see, I suppose you've got to stand up, don't you, and be counted. But North Launceston can ill afford, with the final staring them in the face, to have players reported.
Barwick got the free kick and then handball to his brother, and he's gone out of bounds. Bob Keddie, I know you as a coach, you always insisted that your players fly the flag whenever there was any trouble.
Oh, look, you know, you certainly have to stand up if your teammate's in trouble. But you know, this business of just pushing and shoving, it's not on. I don't see any benefit. The player is actually down behind the play from, I think you'll find that it's Bacon, and I think it might be his knee too.
Well, a kick from Mansfield as Barwick charges through and takes Davies very high. This could get a bit nasty.
Well, it already is, I think.
I don't think it's his knee, Bob. I think it might just be a bit winded.
I think he might have copped one in the solar plexus. That's not very smart either. I didn't see what happened. It was just off the ball. Now over to Rhys Jones. Looking to steady them down. Chugs at the front of the pack. Tell you what, Sanders is a chance here. Long kick out of the middle. Lewis, clever as usual, to Gibson, who gets swamped. And the umpire calls for it.
It was good to see the whistle blown very quickly there. Instead of hesitating, could see that the pack was going to form, blew the whistle.
The Robins lead by 19 points. They've got the ball to within about 30 metres of the goal. McLean's clever. Gibson can't get the kick. Oh, gee, I tell you what, Nork and Jordan, although he's given enough latitude, I think if you're going to play it one way, you've got to let it go the other. And that was good, sensible umpiring. Well done.
Cassidy is actually back on the ground. He's replaced Dunstan.
30 metres out from North's goal. They've got a 19-point break. Mansfield in the back pocket. He's got some time. His kick's not a good one. It had to be pinpoint accurately.
The option wasn't bad to Bacon, was it? But, gee, it just carried a little bit too far to Loon.
Well, that's twice in the second quarter and now in this quarter that Loon's been on the receiving end of a kick out of defence.
From 40 metres, Anthony Loon. It's a good-looking kick. And they stretch that lead further. It's his second goal. And North's 10th. 25-point lead.
One of the really good qualities about Loon here is you see Mansfield, he should have come to the boundary, really. He turned inboard, went into the corridor, and look at Loon. He really reads the ball well coming out of defence, covering across that centre line.
And the team thing just went on. A lot of his teammates went over and congratulated him on that goal. And maybe the tempers have settled a bit here. He's going to win this out of the middle. Barwick had it for a split second. Scrimmage forward. Look at this. This is Loon again, is it? And that's a very good grab. A very good grab there down there by Ben Careless. Out wide to Justin O'Dwyer. Little chip round the body is sensible and good. And it's Jordan, who started off very well. Kick to the half-forward flank. Gee, I tell you what, there's some aerialists down there. Now Adam Sanders. And Mansfield caught to the football. The umpire gives them a bit of latitude. Reece Jones to Sanders. Trouble for Sanders. I'll tell you what, they'll get out of this again. This is Hawkins, I think. No, it's Loon, is it? I'll tell you what, he's having a good say on the game. And now to Olds. And that's a shocker. Oh, that's a dreadful kick. Taken out of the middle by Fenton. And that's a wonderful lead and mark to Simon Byrne. Now, it's got to the stage of the afternoon where we can unveil that cliche. They need this one. I think, don't they, Bob?
Oh, look, there's no doubt. If they don't get this goal, I think we can say that that North have probably got the game, because they've had control for the first 5 minutes of, or 7 minutes of the third quarter.
Simon Byrne, 17 last week, 3 today. That's very good. A great kick from around 50. And, well, he stood up at exactly the right time. 10 plays 6 in goal terms, 66 plays. In fact, I'm just wondering if that scoreboard had changed. 66 plays 47.
Was a very good kick from Fenton, but also, I mean, when Byrne being on the end of that, you'd have to, you know, you've got to understand that a player of real quality reads the play early, and he obviously read that very early and was on the lead, had the break on his opponent, and Chris Hills.
Barwick went without it. Proctor at ground level. Clever tap forward in the French direction. Styles. O'Dwyer careless. Wild handball. Chuck backs off. Leaves a pass for Gibson. Swooping through was Mansell to French. An up and under kick. McLean. Cassidy in the second grab. Goulay seemed to slip over.
Last time Cassidy played here, he kicked 11 goals, and he came on halfway through the second quarter. He needs a few today, because his form certainly in the first half wasn't up to what I think that the North bench would be expecting.
Well, he's lining up for his first. And the crowd are very supportive of it. North just keep their distance from Glenorchy.
Well, he's such an important player for them, because you've got Gibson up there, you've got McLean. So just not a nudge, no, it was well done. He just stood his ground. Probably the Glenorchy player could have pushed back a little bit harder, but he's an important player because he's a goal kicking forward. And if I can get Gibson kicking a few and Cassidy kicking a few, just increases their options, makes it difficult for the opposition to cover.
72 plays 47. This will suit Proctor. In fact, it suited nobody. French picked it up, now the whistle, and it's going to be a free kick to the Robin camp, and it's Mark Simpson. Gee, some of these midfielders look alike. There's the group of Simpson, Loon, Todman even. Now that's a good kick too, unloaded to centre half forward. Oh, great mark, Cassidy. Might be his quarter. He's just a little under 50 out, 46-ish. He's gone back 30. He's going to unload this from the half-back flank. Here he goes. Some people can't even run this far. Not quite. Scores, but only a minor. 11-7 plays 7-5. Sam Dunstan prepares to come back on. And I think Graham Olds might be the man who's going to make way for him. Kick out to the broadcast side. I need to do some work here. Olds goes in and lends a bit of weight to the argument. And now Chug's got it. And they'll return it back up into that scoring zone again. Cassidy up. Over the back, Lewis a chance. No, beautiful defensive skills there by Fenton. And that'll go over the boundary line in front of the scoreboard. Which has been there for many a long day now. But it's been very efficiently run. In on the winders, people on the winders overall do a very good job. 73-47.
26 points, North Launceston's favour. Styles swats it out of ruck. Mansfield, who I just don't think is well today. Lewis, a hurried kick, smothered. Barwick, Goulet, up and down. Mansfield, around the body. Left foot kick tight against the boundary line. North Launceston have the numbers, but they mucked it up there, and let's Pyle in from centre wing. Wesley Pyle evades a tackle, gives a good handball to Bacon. Burns the target in front of Hills. Neither could mark it. It's on Glenorchy's half-forward line. Styles caught without it, hovering over the ball. It's a bit scrambly. Michael Styles, I think, was looking for the free, but the umpire probably spotted it well.
Just as we wait for this ball up, I think there is an incorrect scoreboard there. I think North Launceston should be 11-8.
Glenorchy need a score. Holmes to Pyle. The umpire's picked out a free. It's going to French. It's not. It's going back down there to
Marcus Todman.
Marcus Todman. He's had a good battle with Michael Styles. Onto centre wing. Gavin Styles from behind nearly marks it. Carter. Quick hands to Fenton, who overruns it. Allows his opponent Lewis in. To half forward for North Launceston. Mansell was probably caught with it, without it.
Yeah. He played that well too. As soon as he felt the fingernails and the jumper, he threw the arms up to Loon, who's just inside that 50-metre semicircle. The famous footballing name, the Loons of Deloraine. Oh, good kick too. Right into that corridor in front of the goals. McLean runs at it, can't take it. Kicks it over the shoulder. Oh, he wouldn't kick one from there. You can't. Gibson comes out without it. Here's a chance. Smothered off the boot. A lot of people had a go at that. Scotty Hawkins had a go. Gibson had a go. McLean had a go. And the scoreboard. North sneaking away, aren't they? This is meant for O'Dwyer. He's got some work to do. Does it well. Grabbed by Goma. Kicks it into the centre of the ground. Oh dear, you needed Bacon, gets rid of it just well enough. Now Pyle's got it back again. Down to Cox. They can open the forward line up this time. He runs up to Byrne and kicks to the City goal and misses. Good play by Cox, good vision. He had some help there. Pyle, I think, had 2 grabs in that transfer, so well done. 74 plays 48.
Kicking looks for Hills. Bacon's there with him. Glenorchy got the numbers here. Jordan on his left, props, gives it back to Styles, who's going to be hammered by 2 North Launceston opponents. He squeezes a pass into Byrne.
That was a direct result, actually, of Chris Hills being used as the designated receiver from that kick out, because it left Byrne on his own, and the turnover was always going to be on because the kick had to be spot on to Chris Hills. Hills just not quick enough to respond, couldn't get back in time to cover Byrne.
Very important kick. Simon Byrne, he's kicked 3. Fades to the left.
You know, it makes you wonder why Chris Hills would be used as one of the receivers from the kick out, because he just doesn't have the pace unless it's a clear set mark.
Well, I think it'll be once caught, twice shy. Sanders comes out to the Reece Jones side. So he's the designated grabber this time, and will. Still a good player, isn't he?
Yes.
5 marks, short. Looking for and finding Sam Dunstan, who's back on the ground. The racehorse. Boot with Tat. Driving left foot kick to Gibson. Chuck Lewis. Here they go again, Loon. Clever body swerve. Not so sure the kick was all that clever. Cassidy rebounds it. And now the numbers. Barwick flings it over the top, most untidy. Goulet runs through heavy traffic to get it to the boundary line. And Carter is there to do the escorting job. 74-48, North Launceston in the lead.
Craig Carter runs back to take the knockout. Styles interfered with someone. Gone to Chug. It's about 70 metres out. Normally a good kick, Dale Chug. Squares the ball in the Gibson direction. Careless is with him. Cassidy rows it well. Spins around. Has time to space to steady. Thumps it forward. This is quarter.
Gee, this is one of the better goals for this season, isn't it? What quick anticipation, Bob.
Well, it was very, very good. I thought actually the manner in which Chug put the ball into that corridor was terrific, because it gave them two options. It had Cassidy coming out from the goal, and if you watch here at Gibson, who did pretty well just to put his body in the road of Goss there, and the anticipation from Cassidy, as you say, was excellent, and able to turn around on his correct kicking foot into the corridor, and that's one of the qualities of the north side.
McLean wins that tap, taken by Harthill. High ball to half forward. Bacon there. Stands up with the ball. He's not been the worst of the Glenorchy side. Goes in again. Flings the hand pass up. French belts it back into the middle. McLean knocks on. Lewis runs at the football. Nudged out of the way. Grabbed by Barwick. Kick to half forward. Oh, super mark by... Now, is that going to be paid? That's the second time he's done that. Styles has taken two brilliant marks today, but has managed to push his opponent out. Chug takes the free kick. Centre wing railway side, and the ball, I was about to say over the boundary line. Loon grabs it cleverly to Mansell. Mansell within 50, swings it towards Gronawagan, and Gronawagan doesn't get that far because it's Cassidy's quarter.
Well, I think his opponent Goulet would be looking for somewhere to hide at the moment, because it's becoming a little bit embarrassing. I mean, that was just too easy. There was no real fierce effort on attack on the ball to try and defend it, punch it away. Almost, I think he almost tried to outmark him.
Wayne Cassidy has kicked 2 goals, both of them I think in this quarter. Goes forward for his third. Not difficult. There, North's 13th. They're 13-8-86. Glenorchy 7-6-48.
The ball, I think, once again, Loon was involved in that passage of play. You see his kick there. Very good to Mansell on the run, made some space for himself, allowed the ball to bounce, which, so he's certainly a confident player, Mansell, today. And just too easy for Cassidy. I mean, he's in front, his body's big and strong, hands up in the air. Would have thought that it might require a little bit more intensity at the ball to try and spoil that. In fact, O'Dwyer has now gone back onto Cassidy just to try and match, overcome that height factor.
Well, I think Glenorchy have burnt their season, and that probably in about the last 15 minutes.
North looking very good. Mansfield concedes ground to Carter. Over the top to Barwick. Back to Mansfield. They're trying to set something up here, but they're running into trouble. Matty Mansfield now on his right foot in the burn direction. Bounces over his head. Chug sets it up for Dunstan. Sits nicely for him. He is quick. Gibson's the target, and from behind, Ben Careless, who is a wonderful player, Gibson somehow ran from behind to pluck up his 10th mark in the Gronawagan direction. Chipping in front is McLean. When they turn it on, Neville, I know you're starting to hum the theme song here. When they turn it on, they really can play.
I neither sing nor hum, my friend. Neither sing nor hum.
Oh, but they certainly are playing with a lot more confidence now, and that mark from Gibson is just an example.
McLean's gone short. He's found Hawkins.
That'll be 50.
Who was charged into by Jordan. And Cassidy just letting him know that it's 50. It's now a certain goal.
Well, Captain Gronawagan saying, get out of this, Mr. Cassidy. Don't rub it in too much.
As the rain starts to trickle down, Hawkins, who was in that forward pocket for an eternity, puts through his first and North Launceston's 14th, and they're running away with it.
Yeah, and I think now is the time that North Launceston has to really sort of hold themselves together, because Glenorchy's season is over. There's no question of that. They can't make the finals now. as Hawkins there drifting in, just drifting away from Mansfield. Done a terrific job on Mansfield today, but North can't afford to get involved in any stoushes now. They've got to play football, leave the rest of it up to anybody else who might want to.
Well, Glenorchy came here with some sort of a chance of making the finals, and that's been burnt now. Dunstan grabs the ball. High ball to Chug. The acting captain slings the hand pass off. They're away again. This is Loon, who's had a superb quarter. Good game too. Cassidy! Oh, boy. I can understand now how he kicked 11 goals coming on halfway through the second quarter. It's almost as though he's got a button somewhere. He's turned it on and he's going. But I've got to say, before half-time, I think he forgot where the switch was. Here he comes. He's kicked 3 for the quarter. This should be his 4th. Bang, into Invermay Park, North's 15th. 98 base, 48.
Well, if we recall last week, it was Cassidy who started off so exceptionally well in the first quarter, and that was because he started on the ground. But look at this mark from Chug. It was terrific. The handball was there, the running play. This has almost become the Loon-Cassidy quarter, because Anthony Loon has been setting the play up from the midfield with support from players like Mansell and Gibson and Dunstan. But Cassidy has just been on the end of some terrific kicks and just put himself in front.
It's a 49-point ball game. Things are looking pretty grim for the Magpies. The 23-minute mark of the third quarter.
7 goals to 1 for the quarter.
It's been impressive. McLean edges out Jordan. Careless should be on the end of this, and he is. He plays on quickly. Mounts something from half-back. Reece Jones. Wesley Pyle was second in line, took a very good mark, feeds it off quickly to Michael Stiles from right on 50. He drives it long. Byrne drifted across. Too much pace for Hills on that occasion.
Well, I don't think that Hills anticipated that Pyle was going to play on then, because he was too far from Byrne in the first instance.
Simon Byrne. Well, they just won't lie down, but there's a fair way to come back.
Well, I think that, in all fairness, North Launceston just about buried them in the last 15 minutes, so
with those
they
pillows
might be trying to claw their way back through the soil of York Park.
It might be those 5,000 Cape pillows from the flood having their final say. That was a good lead by Byrne. Very good kick by Stiles. And it's their 8th goal. They've only kicked 2 for the quarter. North have kicked 7. Now who can shark? There's Olds. There's a big chance. It runs into his own player. Loon gets ridden into the turf. Now it's taken by Newitt. On the lead, Byrne. This time it's spoiled. Tell you what, chance for Pyle. Goal coming up. If the ball can be controlled, and it is eventually. Stiles kicks it. 2 goals in about 10 seconds as Gavin Stiles converts, and Glenorchy moved to 9,660, but the trailing margin is 38 points.
Have a look at this, and doesn't this remind you of Percy Jones kicking that goalpost with his foot? Because I reckon Gavin Stiles was petrified here. He ran onto the ball, it just running away from him, and the sigh of relief to get it through. Terrific stuff.
And I think the smile on his face there was the delightful touch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, did I really do that? I think the coach might have sent him a letter if he didn't.
Well, he's missed a couple today, Gavin.
Yep.
But he didn't miss that one, Glenorchy. Really need a couple more before the third quarter. Hartill squeezes out from centre field. Stiles is in front of his opponent, Sanders. Can he pick it up? He does so. Traps it well. Gives it across to Cox. Cox bombs the right foot one. Hills is in best position. Behind play, there's a bit of an incident as Hills brings it back for North Launceston. French is the target. Mansfield punches it forward. Just swooping through there was Davies to Chug. Keeps it in front of himself. Can't quite pick it up as Holmes and Dunstan, I think, they're out of play. I wonder if they went through the interchange bench to get out of play there.
I don't think they did. Actually, all that was started off by Gavin Stiles.
Olds the centre wing. Hawkins traps it. Stiles collects French a bit late. Hawkins kicks downfield. Gibson. Glenorchy have the numbers. Barwick to Stiles. Punch forward. Gibson picks it up. A quality player. His kick's in no man's land. McLean runs onto it. French. Can he keep it in before it goes out of bounds? He can. Lines up for a goal. No, cleverly passes it to Glenorchy. Disciplined play to the front of the square.
Oh, that was the real team thing. Now, the reserve umpire is out having a word to Sam Dunstan, way behind play. He was involved in that altercation back there.
And Gavin Stiles was reported by the reserve umpire.
And I don't know about that. Glenorchy kicks a goal. So one of the two that Glenorchy got back in a hurry, surrendered by that, and now North moved through the 100. It's 104 plays 60. Unselfish play here by French.
Well, it was a good effort, really, because rather than ping at the goals, you can see once again the discipline of the forwards in this north side now, kicking the ball to the corridor, to the space in front of the square, rather than trying to kick impossible goals. In fact, the emergency umpire has gone out to the field umpire just while we're waiting for the ball to be bounced.
I think that'll be reporting that there is a report.
Yes.
So we think there are at least 2 sets of reports out of today's game so far. And it's pretty willing out there. Mansfield wins the tap. Kicked off the table by Harthill. Stiles, brilliant as usual. Back to Harthill. They've got a bit of space here. Cox blast for goal at the city end. Through, I think. The goal umpire goes down. And now a bit of poise for the two-hand signal. That's their 10th. And even though you'd think that North have got this well and truly parcelled up, Glenorchy, after going to sleep for 15 minutes, is suddenly awake again.
Yes, well, they're a little bit unfortunate because there was a clear free kick to Anthony Loon in that passage of play at the centre bounce. It wasn't paid. The ball spilled to the Glenorchy players, and Cox on that trusty left foot. Very, very good kick. And you're right. I mean, Glenorchy have done pretty well. It's just been 10 to 15 minutes of football that they've gone to sleep.
Klein beats Jordan. It's been a bit scrambly out of the centre all day. Todman, Lewis, Chug. A wild handball, but it's well set up. I think they practiced that one to Loon. Loon ducks and dives. Hang on for a while, but he's got space. To Gibson. Careless traps in front of him. Running through was Olds. His left foot snap. It's a super kick.
Gee, what a terrific kick that was. I mean, it's not confidence, that's just real class. And the effort of Loon there, I think he must have worked his way between about 4 or 5 Glenorchy players, and the tap on from Gibson just set it up for Graham Olds and snapped it around the corner. He couldn't kick it running straight at the goals. He was very efficient on that little hook.
It really must hurt when you work hard to get a goal and it's got back so easily. McLean wins the next tap to Chug. Hand passes untidy into very heavy traffic. Spinning into it is Stiles. Misses it. Taken by Carter. And now another one of these ugly incidents. And here goes the reserve umpire out again. And the free kick will go North Launceston's way.
Where's Lewis?
And Michael Stiles.
Oh, it's just silly. I hate this sort of football. To Jason Gibson on the mark. You don't see it because of the stupidity that's going on. And the snipers are having a field day out there. Gibson kicks it deep into the pocket. And a mark to Hawkins.
Holmes again involved in that midfield clash. Been pretty busy today.
I didn't think there was any doubt about that, although it seems that Barwick did. Now Hawkins is going to go back down the ground. That's as cheeky as you like to Gibson. Now, they've lost about 25 metres with that kick, and Jason Gibson just seems to be a little bit worried about that hamstring problem that he's had. Let's see if he unloads this. Jason Gibson within his normal kicking distance, you'd reckon, to the Invermay Park goal. I tell you what, not too bad, the hamstring. It's fisted off the head of the pack for a point. 17-9 to 10-6. Jason Gibson, the medalist of a couple of years ago. In fact, our score 10-7, and I'll stick with that.
The kick in finds Barwick, who dropped it. Chug puts some pressure on him and forces the ball out of play. When the wheels start to wobble a bit, they can fall off very quickly. Barwick, normally a good mark, just dropped the kick in there from Goss. Jordan against Chug. Mansell runs onto it, and the boundary line beats them all. Just 31 minutes gone in the third quarter. Really has been dominated by Loon and Cassidy and North Launceston generally, and they're still in attack. Groenewegen, Goss, just thumps it back over the bounds, and we'll do it all again.
Here's young Mansell.
It's been one of their good small brigade today. Jordan, Barwick, a quick kick, Harthill in best position, looks for support, eventually forced to kick hurriedly, and in doing so, just like that famous 200-metre runner, put his foot on the line and was pinned.
So what's that mean? The line's mine, the park is yours. Boundary thrown right on the 50-metre zone, chugged from behind, knocks it to ground, picked up well there by Jordan, hand pass is untidy, now Barwick, good clearing kick only as far as Gibson. Breaks away, they can always seem to be able to create space. Craig Davies on the lead to Cassidy. Oh, don't tell me he's going to mark that, he couldn't. He hasn't got a Tatslotto ticket. Bacon is a good kick. Rhys Jones, outpointed, no. Clever hand pass to Hills, who drops it. Goes back in and retrieves. Now he's clever too. Out to Loon. Long hand pass up to McLean. Half forward flank has been gained now. Beautiful pass. No, it's not. It's an ugly, it's a lovely kick. Very, very poor result. And Glenn Goss is the marker. Lucky to get away with that. Hand pass comes down to Fenton. He loses it. Hit and hope this. Oh dear. Dunstan, I think, anticipated he was going to take the mark and then wondered what to do with it. Styles over the top of the football. Todman goes in. Kicking in danger is the umpire's signal there. And up gets Marcus Todman. He was fit and ready to have a go. He thought he'd been wrong.
Been tagging Styles all day. Todman drives it forward. Groenewegen rows it very well. Hooks around the body, bounces. Just to the right of the goal post.
33 minutes we've ticked up to. A couple of fights, a lot of goals.
And some good play.
Yes, there's been a bit of that as well. I'm not sure how you'd rate them 1, 2, 3. But frankly, some of the fighting, some of the deplorable things that have gone on, something the game doesn't need. Gary Barwick marks the kick out. He's going to run into some trouble here. Oh, the smother from Mansell. He's going to give away a goal in the square, and there it is. Cassidy's kicked 5 for the quarter. And oh, poor Barwick must feel as though the ground could swallow him up. Dear oh me. Oh, Bob Keddie, how do you feel as you think about the quarter where North Launceston kicked 10 goals?
Well, I'd have to say that Brett Mansell just made my day because, no, I'm serious about that, because how many times do you see that in football when a player's prepared to put his body on the line, irrespective of the fact that Cassidy has kicked 5 goals, because he was on the end of what is, you know, a rarity in football, and that is what Brett Mansell just did. I thought it was outstanding. Anthony Loon, he was fantastic across half forward. Gibson continued his play. Gavin Styles, well, another highlight reported in that quarter. We're not sure if any other players have been reported out of that incident, but I think the Loon Cassidy quarter, and topped off brilliantly by Brett Mansell.
Thank you, Bob Keddie. Let's have a look at the scores in the other matches in round 18 as the boys take a swig and take a bit of a rest. And those other scores, firstly the Devonport match. And Devonport have kicked away. They've probably got that tied up. And 97 plays 73. Launceston playing Clarence, and 104 points the margin with a quarter to go. And in the other match, South Launceston doing extremely well against Hobart, and they're going to register their second, well, they'll get their second lot of 4 points for the year. They actually won a game earlier in the year, South Launceston, and lost them for playing an unregistered player. 3-quarter time here. North Launceston lead Glenorchy 118 points to 66 as we go to Karantai for a sports update.
Updating the AFL now and into the third quarter, this is the situation. Let's start at the MCG, where Essendon now 20 points ahead of Collingwood, 10 goals 11 to 7 goals 9. St Kilda still leading the Hawks, 12-7-79 to Hawthorn's 9-9-63. At Cardinia Park, it's still Geelong, 11 goals 7-73, now 40 points ahead of the Fremantle Dockers. And in a low-scoring game at the Western Oval, Footscray 8-7-55, leading Melbourne 4-13-37. Time now to return to York Park for the final quarter of today's match between North Launceston and Glenorchy.
And that was a super quarter from North Launceston. They kicked 10 goals, and the great sadness, I think, that the Glenorchy supporters will feel that they've just kicked their season away. They were a vague chance to make the 5, but that quarter, I think, has seen the end of their season, even though they've got a couple of games to play. That three-quarter time score, to refresh your memory again, 119-67, a 10-goal quarter from North Launceston. They certainly had all the answers with all the midfielders. The leading goal scorers, as we take a look at that, and Cassidy kicked all of those in that quarter, and Simon Byrne, from limited opportunities, has kicked 4 goals. Well, the players are still in their huddle here at York Park at three-quarter time. We'll go to Bob Keddie and Chris Smyth for a look at the stats.
Well, the stats are interesting. I mean, there's about 50 possessions difference between the two sides, Chris, but you'd have to say that the 15-minute mark, and looking at those there, hit-outs 11-16, that really doesn't tell a true picture, because McLean, I thought, took over in ruck.
Well, he did get on top, particularly the latter half of that second quarter, half of that third quarter, and he really fed his midfielders, and Loon was terrific, and Cassidy gave them an option, and Groenewegen was up there, and Gibson's just kept going all day, and Lewis has been in and out. They really are an impressive side, North Launceston, and that quarter, Glenorchy tried hard, kicked 4 goals, but North really ran all over them.
Now, the huddles have broken up. The Glenorchy side last to do so. Jamie Cox, I would presume that Kim Exel has pleaded with Glenorchy for that last quarter revival.
Well, you might say that, Nev, but really was a very emotional Kim Exel at three-quarter time. It was almost a retirement speech, actually. He said, look, if he's going to go, he's going to take a few with him. It was really... It was very emotional, and it was quite strange, actually, quite an eerie three-quarter time huddle. David Rees-Jones, he was also fairly fired up. He said they've been terrific out of the centre to keep it up. He said, remember that the cameras are here. He said he doesn't want anybody reported in this final quarter. So, but just to keep up the effort, basically.
Remember the cameras are there. Have you ever been told that by a coach?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But I think he's right. I think what he said is dead right, because the actual trial by video was used last week.
What about Kim Exel? Is it a retirement speech?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. I think that it's sad that this happens in football, but there are only 2 forms of coaches: the ones who've been sacked and the ones who are about to be sacked.
Which breed are you in, Bob?
I've already been sacked.
Well, you put your hand up again for next year, I hear, Bob.
No, rubbish. Get off the bandwagon.
Three-quarter time, 119 to play 67. The Robins well in control. What'll they show us in the last quarter? It's one towards Lewis by McLean. Beautifully stopped by Carter. Hand pass off towards Newitt. Kick towards half forward. The Magpies a chance in this last quarter. Although Sanders grabs it, is ridden into the ground. No, it's not. It's Chug, number 6, and not 16. Chug comes out towards Hawkins. Hawkins always wanted the hand pass to Sanders, didn't he? He telegraphed that a few times. To half forward, Gibson. No, won't get that far. That's a very, very good mark there, taken by Ben Careless.
Careless, who's done a bit better than Adwai did on Gibson. To Mansfield, who takes a good mark in front of Hawkins. Hawkins probably taken the points on that contest today. To Styles and Byrne. Hills from behind punches it cleverly forward. Todman, one grab pick up. Across to Chug in the Loon direction. Loon this way, that away. Caught high by Cox.
He's lucky he was caught high.
He took a long time to make his mind up what exactly he wanted to do. Had a wonderful third quarter. A good kick. Spotted McLean on his own. And McLean from the defensive side of centre wing. Drives it forward. Chug's his target. Hardhill did well to spoil, but Chug's got good recovery to Mansell. Mansell squares it up perfectly.
Gee, I tell you what, Rick Finlay, our statistician, just said, isn't he an unselfish player? Here.
Well, I've watched Brett Mansell play for a number of years, and one of his great qualities is that he's very quick with his hands, from his hands to his feet. His vision is terrific. It's just that he's struggled for opportunities, but he knows it's on the line, and today he's really put his hand up.
Simpson from within 30 stabs at it, but it's their 19 from his first. Deserved a goal. It was a good build-up.
Well, when you look at the amount of work that Brett Mansell has done today, you'd have to just about put him in your top 3 players, because he has set up so much play. There have been some wonderful players. Anthony Loon has been one of them. Chug has been very competitive at centre-half forward, but that kick there, look, he was obviously aiming for Cassidy, and Simpson said, no, thank you, it's my turn to kick a goal, but just wonderful positioning of the ball.
Glenorchy fall further behind. They trail by 58 points. That's a fairly negative passage of play there. McLean has it, and the umpire wants it.
They really do look a lot better.
Gee, there's been a bit of sniping going on, hasn't there? Backhanders, punches behind play. Jordan. And away they go. Mansfield gets into a bit of space. Drives towards Simon Byrne. Now Hills scoots it out towards Adam Sanders. Just cool in the crisis, wasn't he? Hawkins. Shoved out of the way, knew it. Good play. Turns around Lewis. And pass backs to Cox. Now North have got the numbers around the fall of the ball until Holmes picks it up. Quick kick up forward. And a mark taken by, is that Styles? It is. I wonder if he thinks Saturday afternoon worth it. Limping away, he's kicked a goal, missed a couple, well, taken a couple of good marks, given away a few free kicks. Bit of this, bit of that.
Been reported, just about coat hanger there.
Here he comes, Styles. Goals. Glenorchy's 11th, and that in reply to North Launceston's 19.
He looks a little bit proppy too, Gavin Styles. I think when he hit the ground there, Cox is kicking to the corridor area. Just a quick kick out of the pack there, and very fortunate that he took it on the chest and not with his hands up in the air, because it might have been a little bit painful.
In fact, I think as we look down now, off camera, Styles is coming off, just jogging down towards the interchange bench, and it looks like he might have a corky, I reckon.
Newitt, good hands to Fenton. Gives it across to Barwick. Glenorchy into attack. Burns the target. Hills is with him. Chug's first to recover. And Pyle and Rhys Jones see the ball out of play. 5 minutes into the fourth quarter as Wesley Pyle picks himself up. There's a word or two. The trainer thought it was funny. Deep in their forward pocket, McLean and Holmes. Lewis, a wild handball. Mansfield. Hawkins taps it forward, cleverly to Chug. Hot in his hammers, Newitt. Barwick's there. Good handball to Carter. Across to Newitt. Squares it up. But Loon, who's dominated the second half, swings a handball to the speedster. And Chris Hills drives it to centre wing. A very good kick. Sets it up for Olds. Disciplined play. Brings it back into the corridor. Cassidy was caught high. The umpire calls play on. At ground level, it's Chug. Feeds it off to Mansell. Mansell around his opponent. Lines up. And for goal number 20, Brett Mansell deserved that.
Oh, how good was that? How good was that?
There's a distinct difference in the side this year from the one last year. There is just so much more poise in this side. They've got the confidence to take players on, as Mansell did there. Instead of kicking under pressure and probably having the ball smothered, just ducked back inside and gave himself that extra second or so to balance and kick a goal. Really good play.
Over 9 goals in front of the Robins. 6 minutes gone into the final term. McLean outpointed on that occasion, I think. Mansfield has it momentarily. Knocked by Todman back into the pack. Todman again, but not for long. Driven forward by number 13, that's Holmes. Slightly high tackle. Must be that time of the afternoon where you don't see those. Out towards, no, I was going to say Rhys Jones. Instead, it's going to come down to Scotty Hawkins. He'll steady. He's got McLean over in the middle if he wants him. He did. McLean just toe pokes it forward. Away they go. Simpson's got it now. High ball down forward to the wagon. And it'll be recovered by Justin O'Dwyer. Long kick out into the railway yards. Might be out of bounds on the full. It is. Simpson. Over towards Adam Sanders. Going to go for a run and run into trouble. And now he gets a call from Todman. Blistering low pass to Cassidy. Bit of turf in that one. Tidied up by Fenton. Out towards centre wing. Mark taken by Simpson. Here they come again. Wagon, no. Olds, Nilly. Somebody might. Very nicely tidied up by Careless.
Very coolly, he lobs it back in the back pocket. Harthill, short pass to Carter. Didn't gain much territory. Carter onto his left. Holmes is the target against Sanders. No, neither can grab it. Newett at ground level. Handball was intercepted well by Chug. Very scrambly. Sanders was caught high and the umpire will bounce it. If Glenorchy aren't careful, North may just steamroll in this quarter. McLean jumps very high. Jordan gets a tap. Lewis is caught without it. Through comes Pyle. Off the ground, in front. Davies against Hall. Plays on. Kick was smothered by Hall. Back onto it. Looks a bit like Dermot Brereton in the Collingwood jumper. Wesley Pyle thumps it forward. Styles was taken out of it. Byrne traps it well. Back to Styles. Within 40. Kicks it long. Michael Styles. The captain out of bounds on the full.
You were only referring to appearance, not to ability, weren't you? With all due respect to Dale Hall.
Rhys Jones brings it back for the Robins. And a good mark by Sanders. And he's a quality player, Adam Sanders.
He's limping. Quality limpism. Now Sanders, high ball, down towards midfield. Good mark to Craig Carter. Short, over towards centre half forward. Pyle spins into trouble, gets out of it. Now into no man's land. Simon Burns got it. Chance as he whirls around, lines up from the right boot, and goals. Well, he's deadly, isn't he? That's goal number 5 in a score which is, I don't think, going to amount to all that much. And actually, Glenorchy, I think, doing as well against North Launceston's backline. They're not going to win the game, but it is worthy of making the point, I think. That's 12-7-79 now. And I think against North Launceston this year, sides are averaging around about 11 goals a game. So it's been one of the better forward performances against them. Burns kicked 80 for the season now. Oh, a lot of misunderstanding there. Hawkins flicks it to Lewis. And that might even score. No, it bounces over the yes, it does. It goes through for a point. A bit of indecision there in the middle, wasn't there? Who wants it? Oh, there it is. 79 plays 131. This is Cassidy, who kicked 5 goals in quarter number 3. Glenorchy in control in the back pocket. High ball down towards half-back flank. Up goes McLean. Olds gets the rebound. Works it into space. French had a great first half. It's been a little bit quieter in this. Been a very good player, though. Flicked out by Gronewagen. Over towards Lewis. Long hand pass towards Gibson. Bounces wide of him. Can he keep it in the pocket? He can't. And actually behind play, somebody's been downed. I didn't really see what caused that. It was Mansell down, and he's limping very badly. Looks okay now. Gronewagen's going to do the ruck work. Cassidy, was it? Snap, goal. That's number 6. Might be Cassidy's half. You can't believe, I think I remember a stat into the 3rd quarter when he kicked his first goal, and he had 2 kicks. Now he's kicked 6 goals. Wes Lewis coming off, being just substituted off for North. And he's going straight into the runes, I think. Maybe it's just a call of nature. You didn't see any of that. 138 plays 79.
It's just not a bad coming on. Not a bad move to take Wes Lewis off at this stage.
I think Mansell's got to come off. I was telling you a little while ago he was limping.
Reece Jones certainly isn't limping. He just streams through the centre, drives it forward. Olds, caught well by Barwick. Back on is Dunstan. Wild handball. Cassidy for goal number 7.
Good.
6 goals, 2 for Wayne Cassidy.
Gee, you'd hate to see him be consistent, wouldn't you?
Back
Play for 4 quarters.
I don't think he's that sort of player, Bob. I've only seen him a few times, but he tends to swoop in and swoop out. As Goss finds Careless at half-back. Over the top to Carter. Chug out positions him and neither can mark, and it goes in front of the railway. Is that the railway track out there?
It used to be the railway, and all that building's coming down. They're putting the showgrounds out there, all sorts of developments.
McLean against Carter. Barwick at ground level for Glenorchy. Mansfield. Wild handball. Reece Jones does some good shepherding. Allows French on his left. He'll square it up. The target was Groenewegen, but Goss positioned himself perfectly to take the grab. Then Goss takes his time. Eventually kicks it up to Pyle. Didn't gain a lot of territory. The clock ticks down. 15 minutes, probably about 12 more minutes of Glenorchy's season left. Their season when they could make the 5, that is. McLean, he couldn't mark. Here comes Loon, tackled by Hall just at the moment he was getting his kick in. And it's out of play.
Cox there on your screen. In fact, he's just left it. Hasn't left the ground though. McLean wins it to the side of the pack. Simpson. Just a matter of shoveling it out. Now French has got it. And pass is untidy. Just in the general direction of the boundary line, I think. 21 goals, plays 12. Remember back, it was just a 13-point game at half-time. Glenorchy had given it their all. And North Launceston then took over with a 10-goal third quarter. Todman on hands and knees will lose that. Not for long, though. He picks it up, in fact, and gives it to McLean. Underground pass. Groenewegen a chance. No chance at all, as the mark is taken by Justin O'Dwyer. Now he's going back out to that railway side. That's good. Out to Fenton. I think the rougher it is, the better he likes it. Fenton kicks it down towards centre wing now. McLean, no, slightly out of position. Oh, nabs Barwick, neat as you like. Reece Jones flicks the hand pass over the top, trying for Hawkins, who picks it up. Always had the option there, didn't he, of Loon. Now it's in the semicircle with a little work to be done. Barwick puts it down. The Robin swoop. Dunstan to Chug. Gee, I tell you what, Olds now. Groenewegen. Goal. Somebody was going to kick it. It was just a matter of trying to work out who. 22 goals, plays 12.
Amazing, wasn't it? About 5 players really thought they probably had an opportunity to kick a goal there, and the pressure just kept coming. When they finally took possession here through Dunstan, Chug probably didn't really expect it. Got caught. Back to Gibson. Quick handball across to Olds. Olds to Groenewegen, and at real pace, Groner ran into an open goal.
He loves it. He loves it. I still think, though, at North Hobart, he's going to be a reasonably valuable player in the finals, Groner. Just to get the ball to ground. If he can't mark, he'll deliver it to ground and let the Crummers have a go at it.
I reckon he's loving his football at the moment.
60-odd points the difference. It's a matter of who's going to win this little scrimmage. One by does. He has the Acme Thunderer. Wonderful weapon. Just to think a little bit of metal like that, you can control 36 grown men. McLean knocks it towards Simpson, whips it out to French. Here they go again. And not for very much longer on this particular surge forward. Fenton's got the ball. Zips across the half-back line, moving it out to the railway side. Don't know if that's the right way to go. He had one out there playing two, but the boundary wins. That was the third. No, it doesn't. Kept in play. Now Mansfield. Clever over towards Holmes.
And here come the Pies through David Newitt. Thumping it forward. Hills is in best position. Byrne keeps his feet. At ground level is Goulet. Creates some time and space. Goes around the corner. But Robert, not your best kick.
Just about epitomises his day, really, because giving him a fair old hiding, Jason Cassidy, and, in that third quarter, and then just really didn't turn his body around and straighten at the goals.
Is he going to be your least productive player for the game, Bob?
We're calling it the number 36 award.
As we wait for the ball to come back from Invermay Park.
Yeah. They used to play amateur football over there in the old days, and I don't know what to choose. Then hockey, but the amateurs have got their own grounds now, of course, and hockey's gone synthetic.
I saw some of the soccer players out there.
Actually, North Launceston do use that for training when they're not allowed on North.
And they've been using a bit of this game for training too, I think. Driven forward, Reece Jones, he couldn't mark it. He's back in there. Sanders. Plonks it over the boundary.
I think the other part of this game not to be overlooked is that I think this win would absolutely guarantee North Launceston top position on the ladder.
Oh yes, I don't think there's any doubt about that now.
Klein and Jordan at ground level with Simpson to Chug on the half-back line at the moment. Chug drives it forward, goes over Dunstan's head. Carter picks it up. Dunstan with pace puts some pressure on him. Pyle takes it. Tries to run around Loon. Loon tackles him very well. Gets a handball out to Holmes. He's under pressure. Back in his Pyle. And so too is Chug. And over 66 points ahead and still going hard at it.
Gee, they